It's Friday night, so we like to do this thing like Friday Night Mysteries, except we call it Friday Night Theories because it's what you think. It's your ideas. You are great at sleuthing. You never miss a beat. And so we invited you to send your videos in of what you think about this Murdaugh case, what you think happened, because everybody's all over the map on this one. If you were watching last week, we love this one. This is Pam Glasscock. She had a theory that kind of stumped us. Take a look.
Who other than someone very, very close to him that probably had a financial reason to help him and could benefit from it? So I think it's possible that you might know who I'm thinking about, because he could have possibly got this person to help him.
So Pam stumped me because I didn't know who she was talking about. We all sort of guessed, but we weren't sure. So we actually called her. we found out she was talking about Buster. So thank you, Pam, for that. I want to bring in Lauren Matthias. She is the host of the Hidden True Crime podcast. And then Tony Brueski is the host of the podcast Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski. You guys were so good at going through all these theories last week. We got you back to do it this week. Okay, Christine Shorp from New York sent us this theory. Take a look.
Hi, Ashley. It's Christine here in New York. I actually don't think that Alex was able to go ahead and do those murders. I think that it was actually somebody that he actually screwed financially, and I think that's what the defense has got to focus on, because the prosecution's already set the stage for that.
Well, Lauren Matthias, we do not get many of those. Someone who thinks that Alec is innocent.
Yeah, but, you know, I think that's everyone's worry, right? What's the jury going to come back and say? You know, is it going to be reminiscent of OJ and Casey Anthony? So I think, you know, she makes a good point, but I have to say there was a lot of rage in, I think, the killing of Paul. It was very personal. It was, you know, we've heard about it, and I won't bring it up on Friday Night Theories, but it's so personal and there's so much rage. I think it was a very personal killing. And it was somebody that knew him, not just a hired hitman, which I think was Alec.
Oof, but a dad doing that to his own son. Okay, so I'm going to give you a twofer now, you guys. This is 2 in a row. The first one is Agamemnon Lamonji, and then the second one is Kristen Reardon. These are their theories about what happened at Moselle. Take a look.
I think this guy is guilty. He has been lying to so many people and stealing so much money for people that he care about, and clients and family. I'm sure he's capable of murder. I think he killed his son because he didn't want to deal with the consequences of the boat crash trial. And I think Maggie realized what was going on, so he killed her too.
My theory is that Alec got so frustrated with all of the things that had been happening with Paul, and it seems like he may have just snapped that night and felt like there was nothing else to lose because he had already had the financial stuff come down on him, and then he felt like he had to kill his wife after that since she saw what happened.
So, Tony, this is popular. A lot of people think that Paul was the target and that Maggie was the collateral damage.
I think that is a good argument to make if you're the defense. However, if you do take a look at the timeline, which we've now seen this week, it doesn't seem to add up, though. So where was he? Why was the vehicle in places where he said he wasn't? None of that seems to make any sort of sense if we're going back to the timeline theory. But I do agree. I think that there are these factors of the money, the regret of the boat accident, all the shame, all of that are playing a big part in this as well. I also do question, because he was tested for barbiturates and opioids at the point of his fake suicide helicopter mission. I also wonder how much the drugs played a part in the whole decision-making of all of this.
You know, and people who say that, well, hold on a minute, if he's only going to kill one person, then oops, there's mom. Why would there be 2 guns? I always wonder if maybe something happened and one gun jammed, and then he ran and grabbed the closest one and chased Maggie. I mean, I think that's a possibility, but okay. So
that's
then this next
a very
one.
good theory.
Well, I just made it up, so there you go. Okay, so Sandra Gale, Sandra Gale was too nervous, she said, to send in a video, you guys. So she sent us in her comments. I'm just going to read them straight up. There was one shooter the night of June 7th, and that would be Alex Murdaugh. Crazy Cousin Eddie didn't really have anything to do with anything at Moselle. Lauren, why do you suppose she feels like Cousin Eddie, who's such a character in all of this and was involved in that roadside business, potential? I mean, he's certainly there. Why do you think somebody would feel as though this is just Alec and Alec alone?
Well, I know why I think it's just Alec and Alec alone. I think that, and there's a great theory last week too, showing how he could have done this with 2 guns. But I think that he was there. First off, we know he was there. He knows Moselle. I think Cousin Eddie was that cousin you invited into your life, but not necessarily to your hunting lodge, if you know what I mean. I think Alec was at the hunting lodge. What did you say, Ashleigh?
This next one. This one is Michaela Shea. She sends in this idea, and she writes hers as well. Why haven't I heard more about the possible theory of a failed murder-suicide? He found out on the mornings of the murders that his life was over as he knew it. Being the self-absorbed person he was, he decided to take his loved ones with him, as others do in similar situations. However, he cowers when it's time to pull the trigger at himself. Therefore, he concocts the story of boat crash revenge killing. Tony, I only think, what about Buster?
Yeah, I mean, I think the same thing too. I mean, with the whole failed murder-suicide, what I question in this is the helicopter. Them saying, "Oh my gosh, we need to heli lift you," when it's just clearly just a graze to the head. I'm thinking that was even more concocted as part of this scheme of, oh my gosh, look at me. That's the big thing about that I think nobody's really talking about is the heli lift. That's not just, let's take you for the hell of it thing.
Thank you, guys. Lauren, Matthias, Tony Brueski, happy weekend. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Ashleigh.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.